Hello. It's time to go to France with your ukulele. We're doing a crazy idea today, which is to make Frère Jacques the hardest possible song I could possibly have made it. And so that's that. Don't tell everybody. Don't tell anybody that's gonna be on the website and come join us that that's what we're doing. Don't let them know. It's a secret, our secret. Let me post the link on the website. Website is jollyrogerukulele.com, and from there we got all kinds of sheet music and teacher materials and ensemble music and all kinds of stuff. So let me go get this link up and running. Right, and update. This week we've been doing all French music as well as last week, so we are have a very lovely concert tomorrow full of la musique de français. And I'm pretty sure if you were in France, you wouldn't recognize any of it because it's on a ukulele. Let's see. All right. Song today is Frère Jacques Ennuyeuse, which means boring Frère Jacques. Because I take this stuff seriously, you know how I take it seriously. Frère Jacques Ennuyeuse ukulele. Let me make sure I have this right. You should be working from the ukulele version of this, dated April 21st, which I have in front of me, and it's very exciting. And so let's talk about all of the stuff that's on here. We'll wait just a few minutes to let everybody get settled in. Let's go post this on Twitter real quick. https://jollyrogerukulele.com, and then we're going to grab the little French castle. Where are you? I think it's about 22, wasn't it? Number 22. There you are. Okay. All right. And tweet. All right. That was the that one at Jolly Roger. We put it in pink because Elizabeth called up in the middle of the pandemic, and she says, "I'm so tired of all this negativity, and I don't like that black skull thing you've got as our logo. Change it to something else." So I made it pink, and changed everything. Honestly. Let's see. All right, so there's that. Get out of Twitter. Got this set up. And people are making their way in. Frère Jacques Ennuyeuse, I think. It says Frère Jacques boring. It's going to be anything but. Renee. Gosh. Ronnie made it in. Aloha. Sound is good. Good to see you, Ronnie. Probably 100 degrees down where you are, I'm guessing. Jan in from Lakewood, just west of me here. Scorching hot. We're 95 here in town. Probably headed up to 99 or so. Michelle, 72 in Rockaway Beach, Oregon. Shut up, Michelle. Whatever. Enjoy your 72 degrees. We are... whoops. They made me put this a secret code on my screen, and I don't like it. So yeah, every time you type it in, you have to put your secret code in. Well, there's a button right below it that says emergency call, and every time I start to hit enter, I hit emergency call, and it pops up. I'm like, no, don't call anybody. It's not an emergency. Nancy's in from, freezing down in Florida, rainy and 78. What the heck, Nancy? Worst place to live in America. What are you doing? That's probably the best place right at the moment. Linda, 84 in Laguna today. Very nice. You guys are winning. I'm losing today. All right. Frère Jacques, you will look at the little carrots that are along the top there, and you will remember from day one of your ukulele experience. Whoops. Okay, and then you repeat. Okay, so where the little carrots are, the little less than signs, the little greater than signs, are on top of the melody. Okay, and notice that when you learn this, you learned it in the key of A, but you forgot about that, right? Because you thought you were in the key of C. That was Three Blind Mice. We didn't see. You did Frère, Jacques in the key of A. Now, what I want you to do here is we're going to combine all of the tools and resources and things that we have been working on over the last year and a half and turn them into something that's worth actually doing. Okay? Oh, thanks, Ukulele. The last night's venue was a nightmare, but I am going to be working on it some more. It was an important learning experience for me in many ways. They are getting the swamp coolers worked on today, I think, and the web, what do you call it, Wi-Fi was, it was really iffy at first. Then it was pretty rock solid through the evening, so I don't know what happened there. But yeah, I'll be doing more from over there. My setup was terrible, so I got to work on that, all that stuff. So, you're not playing this one with your thumb. You're playing this one with your claw. So many of you have been avoiding your claw because it's harder, but I want you to hang with me. Got your A chord, got your four-finger claw, and that little greater than sign means hit that extra hard. And then the next three notes, you're already holding everything down, so it's index, middle, index. Use your ring finger to get the 2 here and hit that harder. And then 1, 0, 1. Pinky. Then take your ring and pinky off. Now I want to make sure that you're super clear on one item. When you add a finger onto your ukulele, you don't pull anything else off until you have to. So in this case, if I'm playing this this one measure, when I put my ring finger down, it stays down the entire time while I'm putting my pinky down, and I'm not moving this. So don't move any fingers you don't have to. Your sound quality will be better that way. Things will sort of mush together a little bit. One of the good parts and one of the terrible parts about ukulele is we don't have much sustain, and so sometimes that's awesome and sometimes that's not so awesome. And so when we are playing in this style, we want to make sure if you hold this 2 down and you add your 4, just leave that down. That way it's going to ring clear up until the time your pinky hits there. Okay, so first measure 1 again. Ready, play. You know measure 2 is the same. Okay, that's all you're going to do on that the first stave. One of the techniques that I want you to get pretty good at, if you can, is loud and soft, right? So those carrots, those are saying, play it loud, then soft, 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 loud, soft, 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 loud, soft, soft, soft. And not necessarily even loud, but sort of like suddenly a bolt of lightning and then followed by a little bit of music, right? Okay, because we're wanting to emphasize the melody, and the only way to pull it out among all of the rest of that mess is give it a little bit more oomph. And so that's what we're doing there. Okay, measure 3. Okay, now remember this gets a little bit tougher. Okay, you're going to grab your A chord up on 4, and we've talked often about how this is an A chord, this is an A chord. Which is the better A chord? Well, this one clearly because it's easier, right? Not necessarily. This one's very useful. Your bar chords, when you are starting, we talked about it yesterday or the day before. That's what they sound like when you first start. Just let them sound like that. But your goal here is a bar on 4 and then the F shape in front of it. Now you got a mess here because it's 5. In order to get to it, you got to drop your middle finger. You're not going to take your bar off because you're going to need it. And then get your middle finger back. So your middle finger's got to move pretty quickly there. Okay, that's why this is a song like this. You're like, I don't want to play Frère, Jacques. Yeah, you do, because it's really hard. Okay, A chord, just play from measure 3, A chord, then a little bit of melody here, or I don't know, decoration. grab that 5, then while you grab your 4, put your 5 back. And then a pinky up here. Okay, and you notice all those 4s and 5s are there. They're just filling up space because in the real song, dormez-vous, dormez-vous, that note rings for a long time, but we're busy finger picking. Okay, so let's play measure 3 one more time. The hard part here is that motion with your middle finger from the 5 on the second string to the 5 on the first string, and then right back to the second string. Ready, play. Keep going. See what I'm after there. Now it's easy to talk about. It's very hard to do. This is the hardest. I decided I wanted to make the hardest possible version of Frère Jacques I could, building off of the skills that you got on day 1, and I think I was successful. Okay. Now measure 5. Oh, look at there, 7975. Oh yay, we did that back in the day. Go grab probably with your ring finger. 7, 9, 7, 5, and then you want to have your A chord on there. Whoops, wrong fret. Okay, so that's your high A, and it says that there's a wiggly next to it, so you want to do the glissando with your thumb, and then the low A. Go back to 7. Okay, and one of the things that I watch pros do this all the time, when they're going from one bar chord to another shape, they're going to slide if they can. Okay, it's as if the bar is here, and then their middle finger is just going to be moving up to that 3rd string to get it there. So they're not going to pull every finger off, put a new shape on, unless they have to. Okay, if they've already got enough fingers, they'll do that kind of a deal. High A, low A, and then just use the fingers that are already down to make that sound. Okay, finally, when you get to 7, remember we're going to get ding, dang, dong, but we're going to add in a bunch of other fun stuff here. So you've got your A on at the end of measure 6, and then you're going to hit it. Okay, so that's ding. 1 is already down, open, then the louder, then this one's louder. So, okay, got that, and then you have a down, then you have a strum pattern. Some of you are like, oh, thank God, finally a strum pattern. Down, up, down. Okay, and you're going to do that with this index finger. Whoops. That's the idea. So, hey Pam, welcome in. Did I say hi, Elizabeth? Welcome in. So, you've got plucking and arpeggioing basically up in the first stave. You've got some more arpeggioing in the second stave with plucking, but you've got to do some pretty fancy footwork with your middle finger and pinky finger in there to pull that off. Then in measures 5 and 6, you've got plucking backed up with glissandos, and then in 7 and 8, you have plucking mixed up with the index strum. So that's basically all of our main tools all in one song. So let's give it a try a few times, and we'll see how I do. We'll see how you do. 1, 2, 3, 4. And by the way, those top ones are supposed to all be 16th notes, so you should slow way down here. Of course, then you repeat again. Don't play measure 8 the second time down through. Play that because the measure 9 is fundamentally the same as measure 8. There's just a fermata on that last note. You ready to do this? Okay. Pam says, sometimes I get a bit of a hum or vibration sound when moving fingers from one string or set or moving to another. How do you avoid that? Sometimes worse than others. Yeah, so how should I put this? There's how we want to play, there's how we probably are going to play, and then there's bad playing, right? And so when we get a hum, when we get a buzz or a hum, sometimes that's unavoidable because you're doing a complicated thing. Sometimes you just didn't play it particularly well, and this weird random noise comes out of your instrument. And sometimes you're just not doing the proper thing, and then all these random stuff comes out. So it's a little hard to put a blanket statement on that, Pam. But I can tell you a few things that I know from many years of making lots of mistakes. One, if you have a metal wound string on your instrument, clunk, 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 you'll hear this sound. Right? And on this one, you heard that. Okay? If you are listening to an album, you will never hear that because there's a guy that takes that off. If you are listening to most guitar players, you'll hear plenty of that as they're moving their hands around. And then if you go watch a classical guitar player, they actually spend all kinds of hours trying to play where they don't do that, where they're making sure to always lift their finger up so they don't get that sound. I come down right dead square in the middle of all that. I believe you should hear that sound. I believe it tells you you're listening to live music. I don't think it means you're playing badly. I think it just is what it is. There are other things that happen that get weird random sounds out. If you are pulling up, like you can pull up and make a sound with your left hand as you're adjusting your fingers. Sometimes your ukulele does actually have a buzz in it, and then you need to go have that checked by somebody. I'm trying to think. This guy, no, these guys don't have buzzes in them. I fix buzzes. That's one of the things I do. Usually, that's because the playing action, which is the distance from the bottom of your string to the top of your frets. That's called the action. Sometimes it's too low, and your string can buzz a little bit when you're hit the string a little too hard. And in those cases, we usually just raise the saddle up a little bit. Sometimes it's way too high, and then you have to push too far down, and weird sounds can come out of that. So sometimes it has to do with your setup. If you have a new ukulele, it has not been set up properly, probably, and you do need to take it to a guitar guy, or you probably don't have a ukulele guy in your neighborhood that knows what he's doing, but you'd probably have a guitar guy that does. And you take your ukulele and it says, could you set this up for me? And they'll say sure, and they'll ask you some questions, and then they'll set up for you, and it will play better after that, probably. If they don't take it to somebody who's used to setting up electric guitars. They set them up with the action too low. But an acoustic guitar shop should be able to set up a ukulele pretty effectively. That's what I do. That's every time I get new instruments in the shop, that's the main job, is to get them all set up. It's a huge amount of work. It's really, and a very boring work, by the way. And I don't know if I've answered your question, Pam, but probably when you have some sort of buzz or sound or weird random things coming out of your instrument, it's probably you. Probably just moving from one thing to another and just not moving effectively. But it might be the instrument. It might be a sound that's perfectly normal, and you should just get used to it, right? But without really hearing it and seeing it, I'm not sure exactly what we're after. That hum or that vibration sound. Also, very often there'll be a loose piece of support underneath here. It's always very hard to determine that. Sometimes if the hardware on your tuners gets loose, you'll hear a buzz. It'll sound like it's coming from down here, but it's actually up here. And so check around on your ukulele, make sure there's no loose anything. Shouldn't be anything loose. The little nuts that are on these sometimes get loose. This particular type of tuner doesn't have those on there, but they'll have a nut on here, and those can get loose and buzz a little bit. So it's a whole, buzzes are a whole another adventure in and of themselves, and it's pretty hard to diagnose without actually just having the instrument in my hand. Most of the time when people come to me and say, I got a buzz in my ukulele, and then I play for them and there's no buzz, that tells you what? It's probably them. And then we talk about, hey, what's going on with your technique that we can do to make it sound better. So not discounting the hum and the vibration is totally you, Pam. There are lots of reasons why it could be your ukulele, but it's often the player, right? And you'll hear me, I get plenty of buzzing out of stuff because it just happens. All right, we have 7 minutes. Let's knock this out a couple more times. Let's play it from the top to the bottom and then back and top to the bottom again. Not fast, right? It said it's 60, so that'll give you plenty of time to get all those 16th notes in. And then remember, when you get to measure 5, those 8th notes should feel slower. From the top, 1, 2, 3. That's too fast. 1, 2, 3, 4. I will tell you that this is not the type of, this is almost, it borders on being an exercise, right? Like there's just all sorts of weird stuff in there to do. But think about this playing we've done over the last year and a half, those of you guys who've been around. Every single one of those techniques is coming up, right? Every single one. They just happen to all be collected around the A chord here. And so sometimes we pluck lightly, sometimes we strum, sometimes we glissando, sometimes we up and down with this finger. So a little bit of everything is on there. And so tonight, go through and just double check that that's feeling pretty comfy for you. And then remember, there's no lesson on Friday. I'm taking the day off. So tomorrow is our Friday concert. Okay, you have Alouette, Alouette, Gentille Alouette, à vous diriger maman. That's a hard version of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Au clair de la lune, right, where we kind of pound on it a little bit. Après de ma blonde. the Elvis song, right? Frère, Jacques, Ennuyeuse, which we just finished, and then remember from last week, Vive la Compagnie. That's probably how we'll finish. But every good fellow now rocking it up, bum. Okay, so we have some very kind of different songs that we're not as super comfortable with in the United States, but they're definitely, every one of them has a good technique and a good fun piece to work on there. I think that's what I know today. We didn't play the baritone version of this, but we don't really, it's obviously exactly the same thing. Every bit is hard, just a different key. So there's that. Pam follows up with, I think it might be me. It's like extra noise from the strings when I try to move again, and not all the time. If it's not all the time, probably a technique issue, right, Pam? One thing I noticed in the summer, it's easier to get a little bit of moisture on your fingers. I'd say sweat balls, but that sounds weird. And your finger can stick. The other one that's very common, if you don't push down on your string hard enough, you get that sound. That's from not pushing down hard enough on your fretting. So that's a possibility as well. So all those things are, most buzzes are user generated, most of them, but not all of them. And that's why if you have one that's fairly consistent, you might take. I have a guitar that has a buzz and it drives me bananas. I cannot find it to save my soul, and I haven't managed to get humble enough to take it over to the guy who really knows how to fix it. So as soon as I get my humility on, I'm taking it over to Ed. Ed, there's a buzz in this guitar. I can't find it. Can you find it for me? Yes, Gary, I'll find it for you. It'll be $150. And you'll be like, all right, the guitar is worth $157, so do it. All right, guys, have a good day. Stay cool. Get your vaccines. If you are coming to next hour, Sweet Caroline, right? So as always, what I do is I end the stream here and fire up a new link. It's going to make the archives a lot cleaner this way. So if you are subscribed to the site, to the YouTube, if you're logged in and subscribed to my channel on YouTube, you just hit refresh. Give me a minute or two to reset the link, and then it'll just pop right up. If not, you go over to Jolly Roger, get the link, and come back in. And hit the thumbs up button for me. They promised me they'd send me a Tesla the minute I get enough of these. So do that, and then I will talk to all of y'all either in next hour for Sweet Caroline or tomorrow for our French concert. I don't know what concert is in French. Le concert du français. All right. Peace.